Let go of your pain. You've been down too long. Over the years, I had held on to this mentality or this understanding that God is partial. He loves some, He hates some. Funny, right? I was going to church, but I was doing it only because I didn't want my mama's problems. She'd go ballistic if I said I wasn't. I had a not so great childhood. I lost my dad and my little brother on the same day some years back. My dad was my pal and friend and understood me way more than my mama ever could. She was no fun at all. Always churchy and religiously serious. Always. I didn't go to the best of schools, didn't have the best of clothes, didn't always go to the choice places, and didn't have the best of life in general. My whole family was involved in an accident when I was 11 years old. That one day I cannot forget in my life. When my dad, mama, and my brother were in the hospital after the accident, I kept praying. I'd been taught all my life that prayer changes things, and so I did pray. Every day for over a week. 2 weeks to be precise. I stayed by their beds praying, especially for my friend and father, and also for my best pal, who doubles as my younger brother. But God disappointed me. He failed me. He took away the people I cherished the most and left the not-so-fun one with me. My brother passed on 3 days after the accident, and my dad 2 weeks after because of the severe injuries he had sustained. It was a head-on collision between us and the oncoming sedan, who they said slept off while driving. I was found in the car as well as all my family, but without any form of scratch on me. I was lucky. My whole family but me were unconscious and were immediately rushed to St. Jude's Hospital. I lost the two most important people in my life and was left to settle with the one I'd have preferred gone. Could God be any less cruel? I couldn't wait till I turned 18 and away from this dreadful place. I wanted to go see the world, experience life in its truest form. I was tired of believing that this all-powerful cosmic being that worked over everything and works in the affairs of men, that is if he truly existed, has any love or regard for me or what I'm going through. Oh, I couldn't wait to be off to college, to join boys and have girls and just live it, you know. I clocked 18 and it was like Independence Day, like it was the 4th of July. I had arranged everything. Everything had been put in place for Liberation Day. I had put together a party with my friends. The girls were informed and my crush was going to be there. I had been told by my friend Mark that she too had a thing for me, and so things were beginning to look up. The party was going to be at Mark's in my honor, since I couldn't have it in my house, or else Jesus would come down in tears because we desecrated his beloved abode with sinful events. So all was ready, and I was getting set when all of a sudden I heard the doorbell ring downstairs, and I rushed to go get it. Mama had gone for her shift at the hospital, and so I was home alone. As I opened the door, I saw two officers, and they asked if anyone else was home, and I said no. They told me Mama had fallen in the hospital and was currently fighting for her life. Apparently, she'd been going through that for years, and I didn't know because I never bothered to be around her or care what happened to her. I just didn't want to be around her. Tears filled my eyes in seconds, and I could hear my voice shaking as I asked where she was, and they told me they'd take me to her. I dashed upstairs, picked up my coat, and put on my shoes. The ride to the hospital was a solemn one for me. When we got to the hospital, I was taken to see Mama, and when I saw her in that state, the tears started pouring down helplessly and uncontrollably. My Mama in the hospital. My last family member in the hospital again. I couldn't take it anymore. I went on my knees and I wept bitterly. I had to ask God for help. God. I didn't know who else to turn to. I wasn't ready to be all alone by myself in this world. I knew I needed God. So I ran to the chapel there in the hospital and was there on my knees crying childishly and helplessly. God, save Mama. Whatever it takes, save Mama. I kept at it for a while, not knowing I was there for 4 hours straight. A man walked up to me and asked what the problem was, and I narrated everything to him. The man then told me that the first thing I needed to do was to let go of my pain, to let go of whatever it is that was holding me down and surrender all. That in my surrender lies the liberty I seek. That I was holding on to a lot of unforgiveness, hurt, and resentments. I had not forgiven myself, my mother, and most of all, God, for the things that happened in my past and my life. That I had to let go, to let God have His way in my life and the things that concerned me. He told me of God's love for me, that even in my hatred for God, that even in my hatred for God and everything, He still loved me and gave His Son for me. He was willing to part with all so that I could have all. Now my tears rolled even more. I fell into the stranger's arm and cried a whole lot more. I asked God to forgive me, that I had never considered the sacrifice He gave for me, and that I'm willing to let go of everything, of all the pain and the hurts, so as to be His own. And I need Him. I need Him now more than ever. After praying for a while, the stranger told me these words: "My grace is sufficient for you, and my strength is made strong in weakness. I am your ever-present help. Arise, it is finished." And he stood up and walked away. I was still trying to wrap my head around his words and my present predicament when a nurse came in and interrupted my thoughts. She said, "Oh, there you are. been looking all over for you. It's a miracle. Your mom is awake and conscious, and she's been asking for you. Those words sounded like Christmas to my ears. I up and dashed back into her room and into her arms. All resentments, hate, and pain gone. I just wanted to hold her forever. Yes, I did move out of the house when I got out of college and got a job. But Mama and I have been inseparable since then. I love the Lord now more than I ever did. And I feel 16 every day because I live a life free of stress, free of the imagination of pain and unforgiveness. I see God's love even in the worst of situations. God's love is unconditional in spite of our flaws. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. If this video has blessed you, subscribe, like, and share with someone.